5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And this is Shot 30 Podcast, and I am Shane Newbert. And today I've been a longtime fan of the guest that is going to be on the show today, Miss Jennifer Lee. She goes by JL_Iron. But I have been a huge fan of you for a very long time. She is a physique competitor. She also has dabbled in powerlifting. She's been a hardcore flag nor fail girl since day one. And if you thought that I was going to leave this out of there, you were so wrong.
No.
And I look at this new ink on underneath your neck is incredible. It's
Yeah.
a bat.
It's a new me.
Let's see it. Goodness. Oh my.
You can really tell.
Oh yeah, no, I can see it crystal clear. Oh my goodness. That is incredible. And
Yeah.
Jennifer has traveled. You've been like everywhere. You travel a lot. You seem to pop up in different places all the time, whether it's California or New York or Texas, like all these different places. You're popping up everywhere all the time. And we're going to dig into all of this. But Shot 30 Podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, CastBox, and YouTube. If you guys are watching on YouTube, please subscribe now. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please leave a review. It just helps us out so much. And we want to say thank you so much to the Bahamas for making us the #1 comedy interview podcast in the Bahamas, and #4 in the UK, and #11 in Ireland. Thank you guys so much. And you guys are the reason why we're having any success at this, so I appreciate it so much. But Jennifer, we're digging straight in. We're going straight towards Flag Nor Fail. For everybody that doesn't know, Flag Nor Fail is Rob and Dana Lynn Bailey. Dana Lynn Bailey is a physique competitor, and Rob is just a big dude who raps, and I mean, it just makes one of the most successful businesses from scratch ever. Now, when you got started in all of that, you were just in love with them. You were so in love with Rob and Dana.
Yeah. I remember when I first started lifting, that is. Hold on. Luna, be done with this toy. Thank you. I remember when I first started lifting, it was like, I want to say like 10 years ago. And I was just a little thing. I didn't have like any muscle. I wasn't genetically gifted. It wasn't anything that I felt I had like a career in or anything that I could do long term. I just fell in love with like the process. So as soon as I found Dana, to be frank, I didn't really find Rob because it's Rob. You find Rob after.
Yep.
But I found Dana, and she was actually my very first post on Instagram. It was like a collage of her face and different facial expressions. So from day one, I was just obsessed. I liked her physique. I liked what it stood for. I liked watching her work. It was just something that I found very motivating, and she really encapsulated everything that I stood for at such I would say a young age, because I'm 31 now. But when I was younger, it was something that I didn't really have a lot of confidence in. Mm-hmm. And finding her really helped develop that confidence for me. So,
and you really have, this is something that I really wanted to talk about with you, because we've invited some female lifters and stuff like that. Oh, wait, what do we got on this cup? Fuck you and your shit eyebrows. I like the mug. All right.
That should be the thumbnail.
You hold it back up. Hold it back up right now and smile. All right, there it is. I'm going to take that thumbnail and roll with it. But you actually have a Flag Nor Fail tattoo on you.
I have two.
Oh, shit. I know the ones on your arm, I think.
I have this one. This is my first one that I ever got. And then I got here, let's turn. The work, hustle, kill situation happening. This one is like a little blurry on the outside just because it's been hit so many times. But I only have the two for them.
And so, okay, when Flag Nor Fail kind of started out, I remember when they did their photo contest. You probably have no idea or even remotely remember who I am at all. But I know that you loved the photos that I had did, because back then I was a jack dude. I was a big power lifter, and I had their symbol, the axe and the anchor. And I was like, I had all these like with it like painted on me, and that photo contest was so much fun. And then I actually, when I met Rob, everybody was like, dude, you and Rob look, I had the beard going down, and then I had the giant like mohawk, and everybody thought that me and him looked so much alike. But I thought that when you met Rob and Dana, which is so funny because when I have a guest on the show, I always go back through all of their stuff, just to anything that can like kindle like a fire in my eyes to talk about on the podcast. It was so funny because every single Flag Nor Fail post that you had, I had already liked, and I thought it was so funny from 2014 and stuff like that. When you met Rob and Dana, and that was a really cool thing for you. I know that.
I lived in Texas at the time. I lived in Houston, and we traveled to Dallas. I want to say we traveled to Dallas, and I stood in line, I swear, for like 9 hours. All day long, I stood in line. I brought meals. I had my 6-pack bag. I mean, I was fully prepared. And you talk about a girl like being so nervous and then immediately getting her feelings hurt the moment that I saw Dana, because I saw her. And like me, I'm from the South. It's a Southern thing. We hug. I'm a hugger. If I see you, I'm hugging you. So just get ready. And I went to hug her, and she backed away from me.
Oh.
And she went, JL Iron. And I nearly lost my shit. I was like, okay, so you know who I am. All right. Okay. This is fine. I'm fine. But no, she signed my 6-pack bag. She signed my shirt. Like pulled it down over my butt. And of course, at that time, I thought I had a butt. Little do we know. But no, it was such a rad experience. And Rob would come through the line, and he would like talk to us, and like they were just such really cool people.
That is one of the coolest things, because like Rob acts like he's not a celebrity, and in our eyes he is a huge, but he, like even at the Arnold Classic and stuff, he did exactly what you said. He walked through the whole line, giving everybody high fives and shaking everybody's hands, taking pictures while you're waiting for hours just to stand beside Dana and stuff like that. And I think that is that it makes them both very cool in the sense of like a celebrity. You know, in the lifting world, like the lifting celebrities are so different than, you know, like an actor or singer or stuff like that. The lifting celebrities, they are what kind of like formulate the way a person lifts, the style that they go with, and everything that they portray moving forward. And so I think that group was so cool. And I mean, I'm glad that they're killing it now. Like they're out there on jet skis and all cars. And yeah. They got pet ducks, and I don't know. They got everything.
Yeah. I mean, they're doing big things. I haven't really kept up with their stuff as far as recently. But my biggest thing was just the way that they interacted with their audience. Like Dana has always been, from what I know when I met her a couple of times, super humble. Like she's just an itty bitty thing. And you see her and you have this mountain-sized, you know, expectation of what she's going to be like. And, you know, her muscles are massive, and she just is such this huge person in your mind. And then you meet her, and don't get me wrong, she's jacked, but she just has such a big personality and such a small little person. But yeah, Rob would like come through the line, and she was just so personable. Like you felt like you knew her when you met her. And so that was something that I really loved about them, growing into bodybuilding. So they were definitely the two people that I looked at.
And you've kind of killed it in so many different aspects of lifting, whether it be bodybuilding, physique, powerlifting, even for a while there too. I mean, you've killed it in so many different aspects, but we're going to dive into that in just a minute. But Shot 30 Podcast is sponsored by Mrs. Newbie's Cakes and Cookies. Visit Mrs. Newbie's Cakes and Cookies on Facebook and Instagram today. Put in your orders for she's the best in the Midwest. I mean, when it comes to decorative cakes, your wedding, birthday, Father's Day, anything like that, put in your orders early because she books up quick. Mrs. Newbie's Cakes and Cookies. But okay, so like with your body too. You were a tiny little thing, and then you got so jacked. Like, and you can say whatever you want. I know the way this all works. Like, oh no, I'm not that jacked, or I could look better, or anything like that you could say. But you are so jacked. You got so jacked, and the way you progressed through things, you're one of the most consistent people that I've followed since I was in the past eight years or so, throughout my whole powerlifting career, everything like that. When that ended and moving forward, I've still followed you, and you have never stopped, and you're still killing it.
Yeah. For me, for a long time. So funny story, actually getting into lifting period. I was like $130. I mean, I was tiny. I was skinny fat, if you want to call it that, which I don't really know the progressive term now. But that's what we called it then. And that's what I was. I was just a normal, average human being. That's what I looked like. And I was dating a guy, and he told me I was fat. So I was like, oh, really? This is what fat looks like. Okay. So I started lifting, and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing for a long time. Because as much as he thought I was fat, he didn't really show me how to do anything properly. So yeah, it's been a really long journey to now finally be in a place where, one, I'm confident with the way that I look. I'm actually doing things the right way. I'm growing progressively the way I want to. And for me, it's really just about doing something that I love. Because for a long time, I did it for the wrong reasons. I did it because he told me I was fat and I wanted to look better for him. Well, fuck all those people. Do shit for you. Because you have to live with you, and you have to be happy with you. So that's why I've just continued to do everything in bodybuilding. So
I think what a really cool aspect of things, especially we've had a lot of success on TikTok, and anybody that has come from TikTok and watching the episode now, I appreciate all you guys. Thank you so much for all the love and how much you guys have helped us out so much. But I follow a lot of female bodybuilders, physique, all things like that. Dude, the internet world is such a crazy thing because it's either hit or miss. And I wanted to talk to you about, I guarantee that you've gotten well, you look like a man, or like nobody wants a woman to look like that. And I know I'm going to let you go first, and then I have some things that I want to touch on with that. But I'm sure you've gotten that because you're jacked.
Yeah. I've gotten those comments, but as crazy as it seems, I know that once I'm like more in a public view, and I step on a physique stage, and I progress further into nationals, and if I go pro and those types of things, I know that there will be more eyes on me, so I'll probably get more of that. But as of like now and like backwards, I don't get a lot of it. I get some, but I don't get a lot of it. Because I'm very selective with who I, interact with. And the ones that I do get, like, I just thank them. Like, I'm very passive. Just because if you have enough energy to say ugly things to me, then it's really not worth my time and energy to interact with you from the get-go. So, I mean, I get them, but it's very few and far between. I think so much of that has, like, and I really sat there last night and I was thinking about this, because you look absolutely great, and especially when you step on stage, you kill it. I mean, your Instagram, for anybody that wants to go to it, I mean, it is butt pics galore. Like, if you want to see some butt pics, dude, there you go. They're there.
But yeah. I think that a lot of that, the problems and issues that come with those type of things, is it's just guys that are so insecure about themselves, and they're saying this to you to, I don't know, get a rise out of themselves. But at that same time, you probably don't want, like, you would never date a dude who probably couldn't bench 160 pounds. Like, dude, like, it's all about personal preference. I do see that. Like, yeah, maybe a guy wouldn't want to date a girl that has a very fit, like, body. They want somebody who, I don't know, whatever. Everybody has preferences, and that's cool. But
Right.
the insult that comes in afterwards, that's where the problem lies. And I just think in most of these cases, dude, 99% of these women would not want to be with any of these dudes making these comments. Probably,
Right.
and in most cases, because you have never worked as hard as any of these people who look as good as like you and all these other people who step on stage and do this every single day. You know, they don't know what that type of hard work and dedication's like.
Right. I think it's just a personal thing with themselves. Because you don't see people that do what we do, whether it's powerlifting, CrossFit, if you want to go that route, bodybuilding, anything athletic where you literally die inside to look the way that you do to be successful. You don't see any of those people going on other people's platforms and other people's pages being negative. And if you do, well, then that's just their prerogative. And if they want to be ugly, then that's fine. But on a majority scale, you just don't see that. And it's because we all have the same mindset in the sense that we all work really hard for this. So we don't want someone talking down to us and being negative about how hard we work. So we're not going to do it to other people. So the people that do find their way into like your comments and your DMs talking about, you know, how you look and how they don't like it. Well, their opinion doesn't matter. Like I always tell them, thank you. You're entitled to your opinion. It's just not the same as mine. And my opinion matters more than yours.
And you know, when you put in as much work as you have, one second here. Okay. When you put in as much work as like you have towards this, or you are your own biggest critique at this point. Like you've put in so much work, and even when you have reached like my body looks perfect, I look great for stage or for a powerlifting meet or anything like that, you still don't actually believe in your own mind that you have really, like, you've even hit your potential. Like you are always looking forward in this sport. Like it is a very tough thing. I know when I was powerlifting, I hit an 800-pound deadlift, and I never, like, everybody said I couldn't do it because my hands were too small. I'm a short guy, and I wouldn't be able to get leverage pulling sumo. And when I did it, it was like, I just let everything out of me, like, all my emotions, like, and honestly, what it wanted to be was, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And it was like, no, I don't want to say fuck you to everybody. I want to say, look at me, like, I did this shit right here. Every fucking day, I did this shit. And it was incredible. It was an incredible task. So I definitely like your attitude with that. That is a very cool perspective. That is absolutely awesome.
Yeah. I just feel like my biggest thing. So I've been living by this statement, motto, whatever you want to call it, for a while now. And it's not about what they do. It's about what you do. So in this sense, it's not about what people say to me. It's what I say to myself. It's how I respond to them. If I respond at all, because people are going to be ugly to you. People are going to be nasty, and they're going to have their opinions and their, you know, the ways that they think about things and the way they think about you. And none of that matters. Like someone could literally come in, and this is dramatic, but of course I'd be pissed, you know, but someone could literally come in and cut my legs off. And at the end of the fucking day, it's not about what they do. It's about what I do. It's about how I move forward. It's about how I respond to them. It's about how I make the best of my situation and what I have to work with. So anytime that someone is ugly to me, whether it be physically, whether it be verbally, or on social media, it all really comes down to me and the person that I want to be, the way that I want to portray myself, because people see my comments as well. It's not just, oh, they see the ugly comment, and if I'm ugly back, oh, it just null and voids it, and then it equals itself out, because to me it doesn't. I want to be better. I want to do better, so I have to behave as such. So that's just my thing. I don't really condone being ugly to people. I condone standing up for yourself, you know. But at the end of the day, being ugly to someone that's ugly to you just makes you ugly too.
But
so there's no point for me.
If they take your legs, I mean, the squat gains are down the drain, player.
You know, then there's just no quads, but I still have the ass. So, I mean, we still have something to work with.
I mean, yeah, you're going to, like, a lot of thrusts, I'm going to guess, like that.
I mean, I'm not going to have a lot of leverage for the bar, but I'm going to do the best that I can.
Now, I don't know if you're cool about talking about this, but I just found out, like, too, we've had other guests, and they're killing it. You started an OnlyFans as well.
I did, yes.
And see, with your, like, Instagram page, I mean, OnlyFans for you, like, it's only going on up from there.
Right. Yeah, I've only had it for 3 days. So I'm a noob. But I mean, it's interesting. It really takes a certain, for me, it really takes a certain kind of person, a certain mentality, because I mean, these motherfuckers are vultures, and they swoop in for the kill, and they want to see everything in every position, no matter what. But the thing is that you have to have the right mindset to go about it, and you can't be offended. You can't get attached to the conversation. You can't think about it when it's over. Does that make sense?
Exactly.
So the money is really made in the message. It's really not made with the subscription. It's not made on like the little teaser photos that you make. And I'm still learning everything, so I really don't know everything to speak to, but it's really about like engaging. So it's the same thing that you're doing on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And what you would do like in your messages, you're just getting paid for it, and it can't be screenshot. So honestly, it's just a smarter Instagram, if I'm being totally honest with you.
Well, and see, even with that too, when we had Ashley, she was a guest, I don't know, episode 80 of our podcast, something like that. She started an OnlyFans, and man, that girl is on there just killing it. She was in the studio, and she knew exactly what she was doing. She had them milkies out, dude. She did everything. I mean, and she's making a killing from it, and especially after we did the podcast, she's in the top 0.1% of creators on there, and she talks about it in a way that it sounds crazy even for me to say, but talks about it in a way that's very elegant too. She's doing a lot of stuff on there, man. Like, she's not afraid. She's also making very good money too doing that, and she has her boundaries of where it stops. But the crazy thing is, now these ladies, like, and the men, I got a man story for you too. But these ladies on there that are selling their bathwater for like hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, like their bathwater. Okay, listen. I mean, Jennifer, if you start selling your bathwater, I'll maybe buy a sample and put it in here somewhere in the studio just to say I did that. But I'm never gonna drink that bad bathwater.
Yeah,
that's what these guys are doing.
None of that sounds appealing. I mean,
you're telling me you wouldn't sell your bathwater for a couple $100 each?
I mean,
I would.
I mean, I totally would. I mean, we all have, like you were talking about, that other girl. We all have our boundaries and what we won't do. And I think that that's what makes it, one, successful, and two, something that us is more, I wouldn't say we're more emotional, but I'm a more emotional person. So for me, anything in the sexual realm is very sacred. It's very private. But like you said, we all have our boundaries and things that we just don't cross, like lines that we don't step over. And I think that that's, for me, what makes it something that I'm okay with doing. Mm-hmm. And I'm to a point in my life where I just don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. So it's like, I don't have a problem telling someone, no, I won't do that.
Yeah, kind of like how you felt about those masks the other day.
I mean, we don't want to get there because, I mean, I'll go.
I know you will. I'm sorry for even saying it. You were very fired up. I did want to tell you, so I have this, I know this guy, he's like 6'5", 320 pounds, big jack dude. He started an OnlyFans page, and guys want his body hair. So he like shaves his back hair and puts it into a baggie. And I really started like, dude, this sounds so stupid when I say this, but I really stopped and started to think about what he was doing. And so he actually puts his back hair into a baggie, seals it, sends it to somebody. And then this is where the gears start turning. I don't know if these guys are eating it, or maybe women. I don't know if they're eating it or what the hell they're doing with smelling it. I don't know. But There is one way that I could see how maybe you would want to buy hair. Like to put it on like a razor in your shower if you're single man, single woman. You want it to look like you got a man.
Okay.
Maybe like sprinkle it across your bed or like put it in your brush and then you'd be like you have that sense of like I don't know.
I don't know what kind of sense you would get from that, but I mean if
I really tried to break it down.
Then,
but I'm super.
I mean, there's so many ways that you could, determine what people are going to do with weird things that they ask for. So, I mean, you just never know.
Yeah, I definitely understand. I mean, drinking someone's bathwater is, man, that just screams sexual to me. Whew, it gets me hot thinking about that.
I mean, there are words to describe drinking someone's bathwater. I don't think that it's appropriate for me to say them live, but there are words. If someone wanted to buy my bathwater, I'll just send you my link. You just let me know. But I mean, I don't even know how you would ship that.
Don't shoot it down because people are going to offer you for the feet too. They're all about the feet.
That hasn't happened yet. I mean, I've only been on there for like 3 days, and I think I've made like 500. So it's very profitable. It's very, very lucrative. You can be very successful on there, even with staying within parameters that you're comfortable with. But I mean, there's going to be some things that pop up that people are going to be like, so I'm going to need to see those feet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Like, girl, show me those elbows.
There was yeah. Show me your weenus. Dude, there is a woman out there though. She is 23 years old. I might hack this up a little bit, but for the most part, this is all a true story. Okay, so she's like 23 years old. She just graduated with her doctorates or whatever from a huge college. What she's done for the past 4 years, making $150,000 a year, not working, was feet pictures. And then she decided to sell her socks, which turned into the best thing she could have ever done. People wanted her to work out or start sweating and smelling in these socks, and they'd buy the socks for thousands of dollars. Then she sold a pair of shoes for $20,000, but they wanted her to work out in them every single day without socks on, and they wanted those shoes to be so stinky. And she said it was one of the hardest things. And I feel for this poor girl that just collected $20,000 for selling a pair of stinky shoes.
I don't.
But
I don't fucking feel bad for her at all.
She had to work so hard to get those shoes stinky because she said, well, naturally, I just don't have stinky feet. I would have been like, yo, have Jeremy down the road wear them for a minute, bro. What are you doing? Yeah. He'll stink them right up.
I mean, put a dude in your shoes. Guys
Exactly.
Their feet just naturally smell. It's a thing. I mean, so I've looked at a lot of different people's bios. And I mean, they'll put on there all the different things that, they'll do and what they're comfortable with, which I think pretty fucking smart. It cuts through the small talk as far as like the initial, messaging, and it helps kind of get straight to the point so that you can start making money and they get what they want. So, I mean, fetishes kind of come along with that. And that, is majority. I've had a lot of people approach me like on Instagram for my feet.
I told you.
You best believe that I've sent in those DMs and been like, so remember those feet that you wanted? Well, a girl got a link now, so you should just go ahead and hit that up.
Well, so don't you think it's kind of crazy too? Like, I could understand anybody, like a partner or anything. Dude, when you see the type of money like big creators on these types of things are making, to be like, yeah, babe, send him a picture. Send this dude a picture of your feet for $100. With like, literally it takes 1 minute total, and that's a lot of money. I'm not acting like we're all pathetic and we would do anything for any amount of money. But if you're talking something as stupid as sending a picture of feet, like, it is really wild. Right. I mean, I know I would grant any person, like, I'd be like, yeah. I mean, I'm buying a pair of J's with those. Like,
right. Exactly.
And
Exactly.
so a really cool thing too. First of all, I want to say, you're not on TikTok, right? Because I tried to find you and
I'm not. I'm old and I don't understand it. Once it's like created and I've seen other people's TikToks, like friends of mine have it and they'll like just let it play all morning long. Like I'll go, like when I went to Florida and I visited friends, they like would have theirs out and they would just play it. And I'm like, why is that repeating itself 7 times? Oh, it's my TikTok. I have no idea how to work it. So I tried and I failed.
After we get off, after the podcast is done, I definitely think that you need to start one. Not only would it, you have a very unique look to you. I mean, you got the Post Malone tattoos, you got the shredded Dana Lynn Bailey body, then you also have this weird type of spunky attitude where you're such a fun person. I think you would absolutely kill it on there. So I think that after we're done with this, we're going to talk just a little bit because you should get on there. And that amount of reach. So what happened when our page took off was we were sitting out at dinner and it went bzz, my phone, I had left it in the car and it was buzzing when I got back and I had almost 300,000 notifications and I didn't realize, but we had like 16 videos all at one time go viral, like millions and millions and millions of views across the board. And it was so wild that we had reached people that's why the podcast is ranked in all these different countries, because your reach on there is so much more different than Instagram or Facebook. Every video you post has the potential to reach millions of people. You do need to know people attack me every single day. I don't even read the comments anymore because if we get 10,000 comments, there's no way, because it's literally 50%. Oh, this is great. 50%. You suck, whatever.
You suck ass.
Yeah, but,
right.
but it comes into play because there's so many younger kids on there that just like want to shit on people. But you would kill it. And a lot of it, I didn't understand it either. I'm 30 years old. I didn't understand it either. We had gotten on post-COVID to promote our podcast. So we're like, oh, this looks like a good way we could. And then boom, it just started killing it on there. And it's really changed the course of everything that we've done. TikTok has, and I'm very thankful for it. But I think you would kill it on there. And also, I'm gonna do this first. Hey, Shot 30 Podcast is sponsored by The Bone Collector. Visit The Bone Collector out of Iola, Illinois for the best barbecue. He's competed against everybody in the United States, even the world. Dude, the guy has beaten everybody, and now he's opened a restaurant in Viola, Illinois. Make sure you put in your orders early, or if you show up to the restaurant, be there quick because that place sells out very fast. The Bone Collector in Viola, Illinois. You can look them up on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at just the BBQ or Bone Collector BBQ. Yeah, gotta hack that up. But it is delicious. It is delicious. Now, I wanted to talk about your inked mag. Your whole inked magazine.
That was what I was going to bring up. So I actually started a TikTok for that. And it just didn't go anywhere. And I would get like 10 views on like something, and I didn't understand how to work it. So it's like I didn't know how to like market for TikTok. I didn't know how to do hashtags or if that mattered, and it wasn't really something that I immediately clicked with because I've been on fucking Instagram for like 10 years.
Exactly.
So I don't like, that's really all that I know, and I don't really use Facebook, so it's not something that I promote on. And plus my family's on there, and I don't need my grandma seeing my OnlyFans, you know? It's just a little far. I mean, she's seen me naked before, but I don't need my grandma seeing me bent over and stuff. It's a little much. So like I don't promote on there. And so I do feel like TikTok would be like a better outlet for that. I just don't have any idea how to push things. And there's
see, we're going to talk about all that after this, because you do a video. We'll have you do like some sort of one of the TikTok dances or whatever. We just did one with this chick who is jacked too. Like, I did a stupid video, and see, we've gotten to be like, if we post right now, our average view per video, I think is 245,000. Average, like that's our average view per video that we post. So right away, it would just jumpstart your page. If we could help you do that, that would be awesome. And it will bring a lot of people to your other stuff. And most of the time with it, when it comes to TikTok, you create a character or you're known for one thing and that's how your page has success. Well, you have a lot of things that people would instantly recognize you for, whether it's the knuckle tats, the stars on the side of your face, the throat tat, anything like that. I mean, being jacked and all these different things, you could kill it on there. You would kill it. But let's talk about the Inked Mag.
So it was so fun and so disappointing on the same go.
I voted for you, by the way.
I know you did. A lot of people did. I had a lot of support in that. I swear my roommate, that fucking saint, spent so much money buying votes and just really supporting me and pushing, like, you know, the stuff that I would post, really telling all his friends, like told his mom, and she's just an angel. Like they really did go above and beyond to support me. But it was one of those things that I'm not a salesperson. I'm just not. Like my physique, my tattoos, my work ethic, everything kind of speaks for itself. So I really don't have to sell anything. So to put myself in a light, especially during COVID, where everybody was like, oh my God, buy all the toilet paper, don't spend your money. It was a really, really hard time to be like, oh, go buy these votes so that I can win money. You know, it was one of those things where it wasn't an easy market because I didn't have a lot of followers. I mean, I've been on Instagram for 10 years and I don't even have 5,000 followers. So I just don't push. I'm just not that person. That's not my personality. So it really did hinder because I got to a point where I was like pushing and I felt so uncomfortable because I wasn't getting the engagement that I really wanted. And as soon as, I didn't make top 2, like I literally sat there and I watched like the time, like run down to where it would tell me that I didn't make top 2. And it ran down and I sat there and I cried. Like, I had a moment because I was so invested and all these people that really care about me and support me spent all this money and then it just didn't go anywhere. So it was kind of disappointing.
You know what? I completely have to disagree with the disappointment. I know that you get to decide how you feel, but at that same time, that moment for you was also cool because I definitely saw the difference in the way you were posting and the way you were going about your business. You really, really wanted that. And those people who came out to support you did not waste their money. Those people who put their votes in did not waste their time because they wanted to support you. You are a very, very cool, interesting person. Like and I'm very happy to have you on this show. But don't ever think about it that you waste, because I look at this. We're sitting on a podcast together, and I remember that I didn't even have to look that up to instantly put that in my keynotes for this episode. Like that was a very awesome thing. Uh-oh, are you going slow here? Oh, we're dragging a little bit.
Pointing us. Oh no, come back to me.
I think you're coming back.
We good?
Yep, we're good now. We're perfect.
Okay. So as disappointing as like the running down of the clock was for me, it really did put a shift in like how I post and how I engage with people. And it did really give me a sense of being more open, and it put me on the path to really just not give a shit what anybody thought. Because I mean, I did a photo shoot for the whole Inked Mag situation, and it was
great. Those pictures were great. All the black and white, dude, they were very, very awesome.
So that was something that I really got out of my comfort zone, and I was fully naked in front of like this photographer, and it was a dude. So it's like, this is my naked body, and it's COVID, and I've lost a bunch of weight, and I don't really feel that great, but I'm going for it. I'm trying. But I do see where you're coming from as far as like all the people that came out and supported me, and it wasn't money wasted. It was just such a huge letdown because I was so excited. I just knew. I was like, this is going to take off. This is really going to happen. Like all of my friends and family were even my grandmother was voting for me. Mm-hmm. So it was one of those things where it's like my whole family was involved. They were telling their friends, like friends of my sister, and she's like 5 years younger than me. So I had all of these like younger adults like rushing to vote, and they were so excited for me. So it was a really cool experience in that sense. But I feel at the end of it, it was for the best, because it really did put me on a path to be a little more confident, and, you know, just my body as a whole, being naked, being that, you know, vulnerable on, you know, a social media platform. And I mean, and it did engage my following. It did help that, but it wasn't, you know, the main positive for everything. But I do feel, it did put me on a path, you know, for my own success, to really go for other things and avenues of what I wanted to do. So
that's awesome. And I mean, so I can tell you too, with back in, I don't know, it'd be like right in that 2013 to 2015 era, you were getting ready to, it was either you were going to be at the Arnold in Ohio, or you were planning on going there. I don't know if you were planning on competing or what the idea was. Do you know what I'm talking about?
It wasn't the Arnold. I was planning on doing the Phil Heath Classic.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I remember, okay, so it was one of these convention type, or it was a show or something, and I was such a big fan of you that I was so excited as a, you know, just schoolboy type lifter to meet you, and I honestly mean that 100%. And I think this is so cool now, looking at this essentially 10 years down the road, and I mean, you've only killed it more and more since that moment.
Yeah, it's definitely been a huge shift, a huge change from the person that I was in 2013. I mean, just saying the year 2013 brings me back, because I mean, those were my like brand new Dana days. Like that was around the time where I'd been following her for a little bit, and I was like super obsessed, and I was just so in love with her physique and what she stood for. So it takes me way back. And granted, like, I have other people that I look to now as far as physique goes, because, to be totally honest, the division has completely changed from what it was in 2013. So that's a whole different topic. That's a whole another rant that we could go on. But yeah, it's definitely changed in like the last 8 years, from what I looked like then, how I carried myself, you know, people that I associated with, like coaches, teammates, friends, everything has really shifted since then. So
when do you look now? When are you looking at competing again?
So I'm 19 weeks out now. I guess yesterday I was 19 weeks. But my mentality with that has also shifted. I don't prep for shows. I prep for the physique that I want. And I think that's a big misconception that a lot of competitors have. They get so dialed in on, oh, this is the show that I chose. I'm so many weeks out, I have to do this show. Well, you don't have to do anything. And you don't want to get on stage and look like garbage. Like, it doesn't do you any good. It doesn't do your coach any good. If you're coaching yourself, it's disappointment for yourself. The judges are going to remember that, especially if you're doing like a pro-am, or you have pro level judges looking at you. They're going to remember that. So you don't want to get on stage and look like garbage, or let yourself down, or do less than your best. So I'm currently 19 weeks out. It just kind of depends on how I come in. Planning to do the Ohio States, but I know that I'm kind of in the possible transition of moving to Florida. It's not set in stone. I don't quite know yet for sure, but I know that the shows down there are better. They just have an overall better experience, success rate. The judging there is higher level. You'll have more pro judges looking at you. So it's a better way to be more successful. So I feel like if you're going to compete, you shouldn't just get on any stage. You should get on stages that matter. And
with that, so many of those people that are in Florida, dude, the Midwest, like are you in Minnesota right now?
I'm in Minnesota, yeah.
Yes, the Midwest is a very tough place to keep a little bit extra excess body fat, because it does get so much colder. When you're in Florida, you're constantly with your shirt off, or on the beach, or walking around and moving in the heat. And so that keeps a lot of that little bit of excess water weight and fat off of you. So they naturally get to come in a little bit more ready than somebody like you or I would from the Midwest. because that's more of a
It
year
definitely
round.
takes a lot more. Yeah, it takes, I feel like no matter where you are, you still have to work. Like you still have to have that just unfailing dedication and drive to get it done. But no, for sure, when excuse me, when I visited Florida for a month in September last year, I didn't do any cardio. I just walked with my dog and I lost 20 pounds because it was so fucking hot.
Yep.
So I do feel that, granted, I wouldn't call it an advantage, but it is something to think about for sure. Like if you live there, if you're going to be there to visit before your show, or you want to go there specifically to get dialed in, I think it's always an option because you are going to sweat. Like you'll sweat here in the Midwest, but you're not going to sweat year round like you will there. So you're going to have to sweat off extra shit that you've packed on over the winter.
For sure.
Whereas they haven't really packed it on down there. Like, I mean, you're going to have your heavier individuals that don't care about their bodies and they're not trying to prep. And so they're just fat all the time. But competitors, athletes, people prepping for meets, shows, whatever, they do have, that type of luxury because it's warmer. So your body's going to sweat. You're going to drop that weight. But with that, there's a difference in burning off water and burning calories. So that's another misconception is people think, oh, if I just sweat a lot. Well, no, you're just sweating out salt. You're not really burning calories. You're not really burning fat if you're not productively working. If you're just sweating your ass off, it's totally different. But yeah, for people in the Midwest, we're fucking polar bears. And it's not warm here except for in the summer. And even then it's like Arkansas heat. It's like sweaty and swampy, and we don't get very many dry heat days. So
absolutely.
when we do get those, it's nice.
And so you've lived in so many different states. You've moved around a lot. Why is that? Is there a reason behind it, or you just like to? I have a buddy of mine, a very close friend. His name's JD. He just loves to up and go. Like he loves to change everything at the drop of a dime, dude, and just show up in a different state doing something different.
Yeah, that's kind of my mentality. Like I went to like a very small school. Like my graduating class. Hey, ma'am. My graduating class was like 40 people. So it was a very small town. Everybody knew everybody's mom and who they were fucking and what they were doing after school. And it wasn't my scene. It wasn't something that,
everybody
I
was
felt
drinking everybody's bath water. Everybody there drank each other.
Everybody was drinking everybody's bath water. But I remember I actually graduated high school and I told my principal to fuck himself because he was a dick to me and he just ruined my senior year and I hated it. But as soon as I got out of high school, I moved out because I was smart. I stayed with my family while I was in high school, which I feel like, you should do. You're learning and you're not working full time. And if you are, well, then kudos to you. But I wasn't. So I graduated, I went on like 2-week vacation and then I came back and I got my own place. I did my own thing. As far as moving goes, I'm usually not in a place longer than like 3 years. And then I just peace the fuck out. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't have roots. Like, I love my family. They drive me absolutely fucking crazy, but I love them, but I can't live with them. I can't live near them. I can't live in the same state. Now that I've been gone for so long, just the way that they talk drives me up a wall. I can't listen to friends of mine talk to me because they just drive me nuts. So it's like, I love them dearly, but it's just not something that I feel connected to. So I'm always moving. I'm always traveling. So I moved to Texas. I was there for 3 years. I moved to Wisconsin. I was there for 3 years. Now I'm in Minnesota and I've lived here the longest. I'm like pushing 4 years. And I even had plans to move to Florida at the end of this month, but things didn't quite work out, on timelines the way that I wanted. So I'm kind of at a standstill with that. But yeah, it's something that I just do. Like, I like to see other places, which is why I travel periodically. And I like to make the most of my life because I spent a lot of time not making the most of my life and just going with the way that everybody else wanted to do things and sticking around for guys, which girls don't do that shit. Guys don't do that shit. Don't move for a person. Don't move for a relationship. Do your own fucking thing. It's your life. But I did that for a long time. I kind of lived by everybody else's rules. And now, within parameters that I set for myself, I do whatever the fuck I want.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happier that way. Like, I can get a job anywhere. Like, you can have a career anywhere. You can do anything anywhere. It's just if you're happy where you are. So that's just my biggest thing is I enjoy being in different places. I just don't stay very long.
I really like that. I really like that too, especially with the boyfriends or girlfriends or husbands and wives, all those type of things. Especially if you're miserable. Oh, I saw that little party foul.
Like, I don't know. I think my cup is broken. It's been doing that for days.
I think you might be broken.
I mean,
I'm
many
kidding.
have said worse. So,
no, I really like what you had said though. If you sit there and you're miserable in a relationship or something that you're doing or a job or whatever it may be or a friend, you think like this friend talks shit about you whenever, they walk away from you and it makes you miserable. Dude, you actually have the real ability to just stop or change. Yeah. Like, let them go. You have the complete ability. Yes, you may have been dating this guy for 5 years, but you can dump him. You literally can dump him tomorrow. Like, it is that simple. I know it's very tough to do in the moment or when it's happening to you, but it literally is that simple. You just stop and then everything changes. See, I had this, like a very similar type of like thing happen with me. I just cut out all of the people who were bringing me down. It didn't matter if it was a family member or a friend or a very close friend. If you bring me down in any way, I'm just done with it. Like, I have no time for you whatsoever. And just completely cut it out. As I started to do that, I did it more and more and more till I'd cut out so many people and I felt so free in my life and who I am and what I do that everything completely changed. So, yeah, I can relate exactly to that. Do you think we should get on the topic of mass? I'm kidding. I
mean, we can really. I'm an open book. You can ask me anything, and I'll give it to you straight. So.
No, you were fired up in the car. But hey, if you guys are looking for the best gift for Father's Day, go visit manscaped.com. Manscaped.com and use the promo code SHOT30. That is SHOT, the number 30. It'll be up on the screen somewhere. Maybe we'll put a picture of Jennifer's inked mag, like nude right here. But yeah, please go use the promo code SHOT30 for 20% off and free shipping. They just released the 4.0. You can use it in the shower. It is really, really cool. You can do your whole body. It's got an LED light and it takes care of everything. It can get wet. It can do all those things. Get yourself some of the ball toner and get the, the cologne is absolutely the best smelling cologne, and their underwear. Whew, I've never felt better. So yeah, go visit manscaped.com. Use the promo code SHOT30 for 20% off and free shipping. But yeah, Jennifer, I know that you probably need to sleep. We're at an hour. Oh, you cut out.
I'm open.
Oh, okay. If you want to keep going, I'm good to keep going for a little bit. I just didn't want to impose because I know you're tired.
Oh, no. I've had my coffee. I'm awake. I've had a meal. It's going to be a rest day for me because I was up pretty late. For good reasons, but I was up. I was awake, and I think I don't know. My bitch ass dog gets me up at 6 o'clock every day because she got to eat. So I really haven't slept, but I'm awake. And this is very successful, very intriguing conversation, and I'm down to answer anything that you have. So.
Okay, I'd love to keep going then. Okay, so actually what I want to do is I want to go back to what we were talking about a little bit ago and kind of like the being comfortable as you when you look at yourself in a video or a picture when you post stuff. Now, I know that you think to yourself when you post most of these pictures, damn, look at my ass. And you spend a lot of time on beaches, which I don't understand in Minnesota. And so, I mean, or maybe you're like just sun tanning, but it looks like it's on a beach. But where?
So We have they're called beaches, but really it's like a lakefront situation and there's sand. So it's not if I'm ever in Minnesota and I tag like some sort of beach, but and you click on the location and I'm in Minnesota, it's a lake. It's not a beach. You will know that it's a beach because I'm getting a palm tree in that picture. Somewhere I'm going to put a palm tree on the picture. It's going to be in the caption. Somebody's going to know that I'm on an actual beach just because that is my scene. That's where I feel most comfortable, the happiest. I'm so much of a water baby. But yeah, so when I do take pictures, I can be very brutal to myself at times. And I have to really remember that, not every picture is a depiction of what I look like and who I am, because I know what I look like. Mm-hmm. And like, I see myself every day. So it's like, I know we all say, oh, well, I could look better and I don't look like that. And, but I don't really see what everyone else sees all the time. But there are moments when I take a picture, like you said, and I'm like, all right, go Jen.
Now, were you an
money?
Yeah, get that OF money. Damn, player. People be dropping some bills. Now, were you an athlete before powerlifting? Because this always fascinates me. How different powerlifting is than athletics, and the people who have never, didn't play football, basketball, baseball, wrestle, any of those things, or play softball, or or track. A lot of those people didn't do those things, and then they got into powerlifting or bodybuilding, and then they got jacked or strong as shit and all these different things. Were you an athlete before?
I was a middle school athlete. I played soccer and volleyball, but when I got into high school, I ran track for like one season. Short distance, I'm not a long distance endurance type person. I'm still not very cardiovascular. I don't run unless I'm going to die. And even then I might think twice about it. But as far as when I was younger, I was like 90 pounds. Mm-hmm. And I graduated high school at 98.
Oh my gosh.
Like I was so tiny. So like I could run.
Whip the shit out of the young you.
Oh yeah. So I was fast, and like I was a forward when I played soccer in middle school. I was super, super fast and I really loved it. I just ran all the time. And then when I got into high school, I did like short distance. So anything that I did was definitely like fast twitch muscle, just to get from point A to point B as fast as fucking possible. And I liked it, but I wasn't as successful as I wanted to be just because I wasn't really passionate about it. Like I loved running track, but it wasn't something that I felt was my calling. So I didn't even lift weights in high school. I never stepped inside of a weight room. I had seen the weight room at my school, but we were really small. So we didn't have like the massive amounts of access that, most schools have now. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can be a sophomore in high school and be like national level physique. Mm-hmm. Just because you have access to those things, and everything is so different now than it was back when I was younger. Not that I'm old, but I'm not that old, but it's so different now. Like, I mean, I come from a time when, flip phones had just come out. Uh-huh. So it's like when we had those little unbreakable Nokia things. So it's like the access to things that you have now as an athlete, as a human being, are so different now. So for me, I never took advantage of like the weight room and, being more athletic, because I didn't know that came with it. I didn't know you needed to lift weights in order to be more athletic and be more successful. So I didn't find anything in the athleticism like realm until after I graduated. And I met Fuckface and he told me I was fat. So that wasn't really something that I dabbled in.
So you and Fuckface aren't together
I didn't understand it. Oh, no. We're
it was just
strangely enough, we're like way distant good friends. Like I've known him my whole life. Like, I remember baking him his 18th birthday cake. So it's like we go way, way, way back, like way back. But yeah, so I didn't really understand what bodybuilding was. I didn't know what powerlifting was. That wasn't something that we all talked about. None of the kids in my school did it. Like, we just didn't know that was even a thing. Like, I know people had pictures of Arnold, and I saw him and I was like, oh my God, he's so massive. Like, I never really had like a negative connotation as far as like what bodybuilders looked like. I always thought the ones that had like dick skin and were super vascular, I was like, oh my God, that's aggressive. But that's because I had no idea what, it entailed, the dedication it took. I was just so completely unaware, just walking around in my own world. But I really don't feel like anything that I did athletic wise when I was younger contributes to what I do now, because I was not technically an athlete until I started bodybuilding.
I totally understand that. Now, would you say, okay, so when you look at the old style of lifters, like when we get into that, like, the Stallone and the Arnold and all those guys from back then, and you look at things now, these people are all way harder judges on themselves than they had to have been back then, because now every single day is all spotlight on you, people posting a lot, and literally it's like you're in a bodybuilding competition with the judges every single time you post a fucking picture or video.
Oh yeah.
So I would say that it has to be more difficult now to do it than it was then, because just the difference in the world that we live in, everything is right now in the moment. You could take Phil Heath, for instance, and him being the off season, and everybody call him fat on the internet, and in his brain, he knows exactly what he's doing. He's one of the best ever do it, but for him, it's got to be like this. I am always in front of people's faces. I have to always, this is who I am. This is what I do. I need to be this 24/7, I just think it's kind of a difference from then and now.
Yeah. I feel like especially, and this goes back to, when Dana won the Olympia in the very first women's physique presentation, things are so different, even like way back to like old school bodybuilders. They don't look the same. Like, the spotlight is different. There's so many more avenues for presenting yourself and being in the public view now that you didn't have back then. So there's so much more of like a keep up that you have to do with yourself in order to like have a certain image and have a certain following, because ultimately at the end of the day, if that's what you do for a living, your following is everything. And how people view you and how they engage.
Now, what really sparked in my mind with that was my brain just took one piece of that as well, and it just twisted into something else in my brain. Like, how fast would you be to downloading a Rob and Dana Lynn adult film? How fast would you download that?
Adult film, as far as
like if they made a sex tape, I know I would have that like downloaded within the first 10 seconds of it being released.
I think I would have it just to know that I had it.
It's
you know what I mean? Like almost like an archive type of deal. But if I'm being 100% honest, on like a sexual level, to me, and what I like, because I've dated females, so it's like I know what I like, and every girl knows a pretty girl when you see it. So I think Dana is beautiful. But as far as everything as a whole, I probably wouldn't want to have sex with her. And that's just me. Rob, he's like a brother, so that would just not really flow for me.
Really? You wouldn't pork around with Rob? I would even pork around with Rob.
I don't, because I've never looked at him like that. Like, because one, he's always been with Dana, and not that matters to everybody, because, marriage these days isn't the same as what it used to be. But for me, I've always looked at him like a buddy, just because I've always been buddies with the guys. So it's like when I look at dudes, I don't necessarily look at them as like, oh, I'm just going to get you. Like, I always go into the situation. What's up, dude? Like, I'm always the dude, bro, like, type person. But I don't know, like, it would definitely be something to have as far as like
Oh, you're
like
straight up
having.
lying if you tell me that you wouldn't fap into it at least once. You're
Oh,
lying.
I would definitely look. Oh, I would definitely watch. I would have to like have the knowledge. But I guess it's one of those things that I would almost have to have, almost like if Arnold were to auction off a shirt.
I gotcha.
Like,
I like that.
you don't need it. It's not something that you have to have. It's not something that is crazy, but it's from someone that you, one, respect, two, has like made their way, is like one of the biggest names in bodybuilding, started like paving the path for everyone. So you want it. So like that, for me, that's how Dana is. Like she started like paving the way for women's physique. So it's something that I would have to have just because of that.
I would totally pay good money for Kai Green's orange. Do you know what that is? Oh, yeah, you do. Oh, you don't?
Mm-mm.
When Kai Green was starting his bodybuilding career, he got offered $22,000 to make a porn with him. Oh, it wasn't an orange, it was a grapefruit. Him having sex with a grapefruit. Oh. And it's actually why most people think that he didn't win for multiple years of his career, because he was so...
I remember that.
Yeah, and he really fucks the shit out of that grapefruit. What a passionate guy. That's maybe a face I wouldn't want to have sex with, especially just the whole package and the other package, all working pretty well there. But that grapefruit, man, I would buy that grapefruit and put it right up here somewhere.
Oh, like just get like a base.
Yeah, absolutely. It would have a little...
that fucker, yeah.
A little glass cover.
Oh, yeah. I mean, go all out. Like... get it a plaque and everything. Like make it official.
Oh, for sure. Well, we will. I think this is a perfect time to wrap this up. I want to say everybody should go to JL_iron. Hopefully that's open still as well on TikTok, because after we get done with this, I'm talking to you about that. And that's you have a fan page on Facebook, JL_iron, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I follow that too. Yeah, because otherwise I don't know how I would even know about that. And then you have your OnlyFans page. What is the name of your OnlyFans page?
So with every word there's a dash. So it's girl W, the dragon tattoo. So it's girl with the dragon tattoo, but it's just a W. Girl. And there's a dash in between each one.
A dash or an underscore?
A dash.
Okay. All right, yeah, we'll just find it. We'll attach her links to everything below. Jennifer, thank you so much for this. This has been awesome. Like, you are seriously such a cool person. I'd love to have you back on the show, too. I know that what happens after we post an episode is a lot of people who maybe didn't know you before from all these countries and stuff, they have a lot of questions for someone like you that I can't answer. Like, I mean, and so the next time we have you back, you could just answer all the questions.
I would love that. That'd be so much fun.
But Shot 30 Podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, CastBox, all those things. Please subscribe now if you're not already, and leave a review. And I think other than that, I think we've covered everything. Jennifer, you're absolutely awesome. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for having me. I look forward to next time.